Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes Reacts. I am Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Dance.
Collectively, we are the Office Blokes.
Yes
we are.
And we like to watch videos on the internet, believe it or not.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, all the time. And Office Bloke Mike is going to tell you all about our lovely Patreon page.
Absolutely. Go and have a look at patreon.com if you want to help support our channel, help us grow, help us get this content out. That'd be absolutely fantastic. A load of people have done it already. It's been hugely appreciated, by the way. Thanks very much to everyone for doing it. Yeah, we've got stuff on there. We've got block videos, got exclusive content. Like what we've got: Key and Peele, we've got Megan at the Palace, Megan and Andre. Just £1.50, the lowest tier, about $2. So if you fancy supporting the channel like a lot of other people, go down there and check it out.
Do you know what I do? £1.50, subscribe, watch all the videos, unsubscribe.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
You just
Or you can
subscribe
just
for a month or
donate.
two, or yeah.
Support us.
Absolutely, yeah.
However you want to play it. And Office Bloke Daz on Instagram is going to tell you all about our two other channels.
Cheers, Office Bloke Dave on Instagram.
That's all right.
Yeah, we've got Office Blokes Try, where we try different things, such as spicy vodka, shitty jelly beans. That was one, wasn't it?
Surge challenge.
Challenge.
Oh, surge drumming. That seems like years ago now.
does,
That's
doesn't it?
horrible.
Yeah.
I went in the pub yesterday and someone said to me, have you done that? Have you got over that surge trimming yet? I was like, did you see it? He went, it was disgusting.
How's that video? I've not checked the numbers on that video for a while, actually.
Me neither.
Hopefully, to make it worthwhile, we need to get about 1 million views.
Disgusting, yeah. And we've got Office Blokes podcast as well, where we do a couple of podcasts every week. One where Mike and myself talk English Premier League football, and one where the three of us talk general topical content. And coming soon to that channel is Office Blokes Confidential.
Yeah, but it's true. Office Blokes Confidential is the new and completely original idea from the Office Blokes, come out of our own brain cells.
Yeah, we thought it up.
Yep, we thought it up, not stolen from a famous Boston comic whatsoever from his podcast.
As if.
Basically, we're going to take viewer submissions, tell us your problems, tell us your dilemmas, tell us what big life choices you're about to face. And the three of us, between the three of us, we have 1900 years worth of knowledge.
Mostly Mike.
Mike. And we'll just try and give you some advice. We'll take the piss. We'll have a laugh. Hopefully, we'll have a giggle together.
Absolutely.
Whether we solve your problems or not, hopefully.
Unlikely.
Yeah, very unlikely. But hopefully, we're just going to put some smiles on some faces with that one and just have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
That's what we're
looking
after.
forward
isn't
to it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Want to get loads of content on there and just cheer everyone up.
Yes, indeed.
Too true.
The pubs are open here, but other countries are locking back down, so people need it.
I think so. Yeah.
Anyway, so insane drugs given to soldiers to win wars. I know that the Germans had a version of crystal meth. I think we gave speed to our soldiers.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, no, I was there.
Me.
Yeah, nothing to. I'm fairly certain our soldiers might have been the First World War.
Yeah.
They were taking a version of speed.
Yeah, you can see why I did. You can see why they did it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then you got like the berserkers, the Vikings that were all on magic mushrooms.
Sounds good.
But yeah, could be interesting. So we'll get into it. Insane drugs given to soldiers to win wars.
A shot of liquid courage, a shared moment of bonding and escapism. Even
I'm just going to say, if this guy turns around at the end of the video and says none of it was true, I'm going to be annoyed. It's the guy who did the Russian sleep experiment video.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
drugged up zombie soldiers. Violence and mind-altering substances have always gone hand in hand. The truth is, countless wars throughout history have been fought while soldiers were drunk or high, and military conflict through the ages, including the modern day, have been shaped by the insane drugs soldiers are fed to win wars. Drinking and drugging rituals have long been a part of the culture of warfare. Indulging in alcohol or drugs together can help soldiers bond before going into battle, provide a much-needed way to cope with the trauma of war, and even enhance combat performance. Alcohol is the oldest, most tried-and-true drug of choice for warriors around the world, and armies have issued alcohol rations to their troops throughout history. The Russians favored vodka, while the British preferred rum. Germans have turned to beer, while ancient Romans and Greeks relied on wine for liquid courage. But armies from ancient times all the way up to today have often relied on even stronger drugs to...
If you were going to be sent into war and you were given an alcoholic drink to fire you up before you went, what would it be?
Pat Carlin.
Pat Carlin, the chicken sandwich.
You'd be on the French side. You'd give up straight away. Stella?
Absolutely disgraceful.
Carlin, that's not going to war, beer.
Hey.
No, I'd have a nice
don't know,
Malbec
really.
wine.
You'd be too mellow. Too mellow, nice glass of wine.
I'll tell you what,
for
one of those Kentucky bourbons might be nice, you know.
Ooh.
Some of that.
I'd go for
That'd be
that
nice.
chili vodka that we had.
Oh yeah, that'll get you.
Shot of that and then just run at people.
For half an hour before.
I think
That's
Stella.
painful.
I think Stella.
Bit of Stella.
Bit of the old wife beater.
Stella yesterday, big time.
Nice.
Win wars. According to the ancient legends, Nordic berserkers, the legendary Viking warriors who fought ferociously and without fear, were said to get their animalistic fighting powers from the animal skins they wore in battle. Recently, though, modern researchers have come to believe that their ferocity came from another source altogether, the black henbane plant. The plant's leaves could be dried and smoked or used to make wine and beer. The plant was a powerful hallucinogen, causing users to see and perceive things that aren't there. Berserkers believed that they were calling upon their gods and harnessing the powers of the spirit world to help them thrive on the battlefield. And it's likely that the trance-like state caused by ingesting the black henbane contributed to this feeling. While herbal drugs may usually be associated with a calm, peaceful high, they've also been known to cause intense anxiety, paranoia, and even panic. Given that these warriors were psyching themselves up for battle when they took the black henbane, it's highly likely that the effects were less mellow and more aggressive. They probably felt agitated and ready to fight, and felt dissociated from reality, making it easier for them to fight like wild animals and kill with abandon. Viking berserkers weren't the only ancient figures to tap into the powers of natural herbs. Eurasian warriors, especially Siberian tribes like the Chukchi and Koryaks, used psilocybin, more commonly known as magic mushrooms, to allow them to fight fearlessly and give them an edge in battle. And they even went so far as to drink the urine of the warriors who had previously ingested the mushrooms to take advantage of the residual psychoactive effects. Use of magic mushrooms and other natural psychoactive herbs continued into the 19th and 20th centuries. In 1879, when the British tried to subdue the Zulu tribe of Africa, they faced an enemy that seemed immune to fear even in the face of Britain's far more advanced weapons. Though the Zulu only carried spears and shields, they seemed unnervingly unafraid of the British's rifles and bullets. They likely had a little medicinal help in this department. The Zulu warriors had a multitude of mind-altering substances at their disposal, from medicated beer to daga, a South African variety of cannabis, to a powerful painkiller made from the Bushman poison bulb plant, which also had hallucinogenic properties. Thanks to the psychoactive properties of these drugs, the Zulu warriors would have felt disconnected from the reality of battle, allowing them to fight ferociously and without fear. Though the Zulus would unfortunately go on to lose the war, they did impress the British with their willingness to face death without fear, thanks to the help of pharmacology. As the nature of warfare changed and weapons and technology advanced, so too did the drugs that were used to fuel soldiers and win wars. World War I saw the first documented and widespread use of cocaine in battle. Both the British and Germans issued cocaine rations to their Air Force fighter pilots to give them a boost before they engaged in incredibly dangerous dogfights. World War I fighter pilots were tasked with a nearly impossible mission. They had to engage other aircraft in close combat in midair. They needed to dodge enemy planes while simultaneously trying to get the enemy in their crosshairs so their gunner could take them out, all while making sure not to crash their planes. It was a chaotic and terrifying environment, and cocaine helped the pilots keep their energy up and helped them focus on the job at hand, without getting carried away by the very real fear that death could come at any moment. The Canadian infantrymen who also relied on cocaine called it forced march, since that was exactly what it was used for. Infantry troops that needed to be mobilized and moved long distances during the war often had to do so on their own 2 feet, enduring grueling marches through desolate, war-torn landscapes, knowing all the while the enemy could be anywhere waiting to attack. These marches could last for hours or even days, and once again, cocaine was their secret to success. The forced march pills, which were a combination of cocaine and caffeine, gave soldiers the energy and endurance to withstand hours of marching through difficult terrain to get to where they were needed. But
not very subtle though, because you can hear them coming a mile off. They're all chatting shit to each other the whole way. You know, when we get out and the war's over, we should start a business. Do you think we should start? What do you want to do? What do you think we should? Shut up.
also helped to blunt the fear that the enemy could be waiting for them around the next corner. The most famous stories of soldiers on drugs might have come from World War II, which is fitting considering that the entire 6-year conflict was largely fueled by speed.
What was you taking during World War II, Mike? Was you the speed or the...
Drinking Carlin with the French.
Carlin and American bourbon.
Favorite of the frontline soldiers on both sides, the Nazis' drug of choice was called Pervitin. It was an early version of crystal meth, and the German company Temmler-Werke supplied the German military with 29 million of these so-called attack pills. Not to be outdone by their enemies, the Allies followed suit and issued millions of Benzedrine tablets to their soldiers. The British are estimated to have consumed around 72 million tablets, while the Pentagon's official estimates is that US soldiers consumed between 250 and 500 million pills during the war.
Jeez.
Bennies, as they were known, were even included in emergency kits for American bomber crews. Both the German attack pills and the Allied bennies provided their users with a boost of energy to help them cope with drawn-out battles and long-distance marches. It increased alertness and combated fatigue, which was helpful for keeping vigilant during long periods of watch duty and bolstered already exhausted soldiers who were about to go into battle. It also created a strong sense of confidence and bravado in the soldiers, allowing them to rush into enemy fire with little regard for their own life or safety. The role that speed played in World War II cannot be overstated. Experts now say that many of the Germans' early and decisive victories in the war were thanks in large part to the rampant use of Providin. The drug helped German soldiers march for hours past their breaking point, allowing them to capture huge amounts of territory relatively quickly. Historical accounts from early battles in Belgium described crazed German soldiers fearlessly charging directly towards machine gun nests, seemingly unaware of the hail of automatic gunfire raining down on them. This behavior understandably frightened the Belgian defenders, and it might have led to the widespread rumor that Germany had created unbeatable super soldiers. Even as these harder drugs entered the fray, they didn't fully replace the more natural substances of past centuries. The Soviets were rumored to have been on magic mushrooms during the Battle of Serkeshvahervar in 1945, where they performed fearlessly and succeeded in capturing the city from the well-entrenched and...
They thought they were in tanks. They were just going along like...
Getting on magic mushrooms.
I wonder if this goes on now, like special forces and things like that, if they have things...
I imagine they'd have to have stuff.
You think?
Certain, yeah.
If you're going to be like on it for a couple of weeks on a mission that's somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
You've got to be on it, haven't you? You can't be having 8-10 hours sleep every day, can you? If you're on special ops and stuff
they're
like
eating in the right... I don't think they're having 3 healthy meals a day.
No,
you know what I mean? They're living under the floor, eating bugs and shit.
I mean, it's something that in war films you don't tend to see anything like this mentioned at all, do you? Or I can't remember seeing it. I mean, it was obviously a massive thing, wasn't it? You wonder how many were dependent on it when they finished the wars as well. You know, all these drugs that they're getting, I mean.
Coming back as addicts and then trying to get off drugs and stuff.
I mean, it's like it's not talked about at all, isn't it, really?
I'm trying to think if
you wouldn't know, would you?
No.
You wouldn't.
Well,
it's
I suppose so.
It's not something you want to publicise.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems so widely used, so widespread. Massively, wasn't it? That it's just a bit strange. It isn't talked about at all.
It's like anything with drugs, and it's not talked about. Look at the cycling world.
Yeah,
true. True. Yeah.
I mean,
that's another story, that one, isn't it? But yeah,
that is interesting. I'm racking my brains trying to think if there's a single war movie I've seen where someone pops a pill or just like subtly opens a little cigarette box and just takes something. But I can't think of any.
Hamburger pill.
Hamburger pill.
I mean, surprised no one's actually made a film about it. Just purely that.
There's a documentary about Hitler and his drug use that I've watched. Because Hitler's private physician only had one patient, which was Hitler, but all of his paperwork said like patient X or, like a pseudonym for him.
Yeah, right, okay.
Wouldn't be hard to find who it was, would it?
Well, no, that's...
He was just called patient X, and he was the only one.
On ecstasy at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Hitler was waking up in the morning, taking uppers to get him out of bed and then taking downers for the rest of the day to calm him down. He was like a walking pharmacy. It was ridiculous the amount of stuff he was on. It's crackers, isn't it?
Yeah, so was he.
Much better equipped Nazis. Authorized drug use by American soldiers continued into the Korean War from 1950 to 1953, and the Vietnam War from 55 to 73. Though it was now combined with rampant, non-sanctioned drug use. Speed continued to be the approved drug of choice, but now soldiers gained access to illicit drugs like heroin. Desperate soldiers would combine these two powerful drugs to create their own homemade injectable speedballs.
Wow.
This potent combination creates a push-pull effect, both boosting energy and helping them relax. The high from these speedballs was stronger and more lasting than the high they could get from using either drug on its own, and it helped the soldiers deal with the brutal conditions of war, as well as cope with the horrible atrocities they witnessed and even committed during these wars. Drug use during the Vietnam War reached epidemic levels, according to the Pentagon, by the time the U.S. withdrew from the war in 1973. Some 70% of all American soldiers in Vietnam had taken drugs. Shockingly, the authorized use of drugs by soldiers in combat continues around the world to this day. Modern-day terrorists have no qualms about using drugs to motivate their fighters and achieve their heinous missions. The terrorist group ISIS promotes the use of hashish and opioid painkillers within their ranks. and they're also well known for the pervasive use of the drug captagon, a powerful stimulant that metabolizes in the body to form an amphetamine. This drug increases alertness, numbs fear, and induces a sense of courage and bravado, and so it's incredibly popular with jihadists undertaking suicide missions. The drug's also reported to increase strength, and there have been reports of fighters taking so much of the
How does that fit in with the religious beliefs, though, where, you don't even drink alcohol or things like that, but then suddenly you're the religious separatists that ISIS were, and it was all about, their version of what they thought Islam was. And then they're taking illicit substances to go into battle. Seems like a bit of a contradiction, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it probably is massively, isn't it? But
I think in the Quran, I think it's something along the lines of taking like drinking alcohol, for example, is taking a substance that makes your body out of your control.
Right.
I think that's what it says. Don't take a substance that makes your body out of your control. Whereas I think this doesn't make you out of control of your body. I think it just gives you confidence.
So drugs aren't necessarily outlawed in the Quran.
No.
Right. I've just assumed that. I
don't think so. I might be wrong because I don't practice Islam or anything. But that's that. I think that's the case. Of passing something through your body that doesn't give you control of your body. And I think drinking alcohol lets you lose control of what your process of your body is.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
I think it just makes you a bit more honest. Drinking alcohol, that's all.
The drug's also reported to increase strength, and there have been reports of fighters taking so much of the drug that even after being shot multiple times, they refuse to drop and continue to fight through their injuries. Even smaller terrorist organizations have capitalized on the power of drugs to create seemingly invincible soldiers. In his book, A Long Way Gone, Memoirs of a Boy Soldier, Ismail Bey describes his horrendous experience as a child soldier in Sierra Leone and the rampant use of drugs to control and manipulate child soldiers in these loosely organized armies. According to Bey, the commanders would strategically keep their child soldiers high on what they called brown browns, a potent and highly addictive combination of cocaine and gunpowder. Gunpowder contains nitroglycerin, which helps the cocaine to spread more quickly through the bloodstream and delivers a faster, more intense high.
That's in the movie Lord of War, isn't it? With Nicolas Cage, he goes to buy weapons from, I think it's an African country, and they literally rack him up a line that's cocaine and gunpowder out of a bullet.
Really?
Yeah, and then there's a whole scene of him just like losing his mind after it. It's a great movie.
Wow.
I think that's what they do in Piccadilly Gardens.
That's how spice was invented, wasn't it? Let's cut this cocaine with some gunpowder because it's cheaper. Nuts.
These child soldiers were high on brown browns, they would essentially be immune to fear and would have little to no conscience. Their commanders would take advantage of this altered state and force the children to commit terrible atrocities while they were high. This knowledge and shame that they'd done such horrible things while high, combined with a heavy dependence on the addictive drugs, kept the child soldiers loyal, obedient, and easy to control. And it's not just the so-called bad guys still feeding the drugs to their soldiers the present day. As long as all procedures are followed to a T, the US military still issues amphetamines to pilots assigned to 8+ hour-long flight missions. These dexedrine pills, known as Go pills, promote wakefulness and keep their pilots alert on long endurance missions. To help soldiers calm down after battle and to combat the energy-boosting effects of the dexedrine pills, the US military also issues what they call no-go pills or sleeping pills to help soldiers recover and be ready for their next mission. Other countries are following suit. In the UK, France, and India, the drug modafinil has recently replaced amphetamines for use in endurance missions and to combat sleep deprivation among pilots and other members of the military. The history of warfare and the history of drug use are inextricably linked, and with modern militaries continuing to use substances to alter their soldiers and enhance their performance, this is a trend that shows no signs of slowing down. It'll certainly be fascinating to see what kind of insane drugs soldiers are fed to win wars in the years to come. If you thought this video was fascinating, be sure and check out...
That was really interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
I wonder if there's ever cases of people drugging other people's soldiers, like water supply, with weird stuff, and then...
I'm sure it's crossed their mind, hasn't it?
I imagine there's all kinds of dirty tactics going on at war.
Yeah, absolutely always.
People are killing each other. Wouldn't you do whatever you could to get the advantage over people?
Well, that's the way the world's going to go now. There won't be a World War III where there's like boots on the ground as like it was in World War I, World War II.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Not so sure with that.
You think there'd be boots on the ground in a war?
I don't think a war can be fought without boots on the ground. I think
I think you probably can these days. It just depends how big it is. Cyber wars, I mean, it's
once
huge,
you've got enough infrastructure.
Once you destroy the infrastructure of a country, then what do you do?
But you've won.
But then what?
You take over whatever you want to do. Then,
traditionally war would be like to annex some land, or it'd be for resources or something. If all you're doing
control of something.
Yeah, if all you're doing is crashing someone's infrastructure, that's not benefiting
It stops them
you.
doing anything. No, not for the time being. It isn't. Same as if you go and bomb some country. If you just drop loads of bombs on a country, it's not benefiting you.
No, but I think the incentive would be destroy, like, you know, take one big superpower, destroys the other superpower's infrastructure, so they can get away with then invading their neighbours, because then the other superpower's not in a position to do anything about it.
Possibly.
Which should still be a boots on the ground sort of war.
Not sure. Only time will tell.
Interesting one.
Until it's robots fighting robots anyway, then it's all over for us anyway. So,
or people inoculating other people.
Yeah. That was an interesting one.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really.
Hey, we're learning a lot about the wars, aren't we?
We are. Actually, loads. Yeah, there've been some really good videos I've seen.
I am interested in military stuff quite a lot, and I don't know if it's because I grew up on war movies with my dad or what, but yeah, just does even podcasts, military stuff. I listen to
really
quite
interesting.
A lot. Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah, hope you guys like that too. Don't forget, like and subscribe, hit the bell, head over to Patreon as well, show us some love if you want. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.